You're now listening to episode 98 of Signed In, an Xbox 360 podcast, recorded on August 5th, 2012. Find us online at signedinpodcast.com. Hey everybody, welcome back to Signed In. I am Jeremy Superpro 33.
I'm Craig Propdresser.
And I'm Sean Shonix.
How are we all doing?
Okay.
Good.
Just okay and good?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know what I'm expecting. Like, I'm fucking great.
It was awesome.
You just
I didn't
want us
mean
to be
to-
really excited to be on this show.
I don't
you?
care if you're excited.
I'm really excited.
I'm not.
I'm
Well,
excited.
actually, somebody should be. So if one of you guys could do it, that'd be great.
Is it my turn?
I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
You owe us probably.
Who's got to be
Oh
excited?
yeah, I do owe you guys. like big time.
Big time.
Like at least 80 episodes.
So, everybody's good then.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, we played some games.
Yeah.
A little bit.
What did we play in the last couple of weeks?
I played a lot of LA Noire, but I'm not really going to come back on that. Just a bit for me. I played indie game Sushi Castle. I played the new XBLA offerings for the Summer of Arcade, Wreckateer, and Deadlight. Played the demo for Transformers Fall of Cybertron. Yeah, that is what it's called. It's different from Fall of Cybertron. It's a knockoff, actually.
It is.
It's got
It's by Asylum. They got a game studio now.
Bo and Luke Duke.
Cybertron.
Yeah, it's Bo's place.
And then, because I like to stay topical, I also have DLC from 4 years ago.
Oh, nice.
3 years ago?
Cool.
3.5 years ago. For
On the-
Prince of Persia.
On the original Xbox?
Epilogue. Yes, just about. Our early days of the show.
Yes.
Awesome.
So Prince of Persia.
Epilogue. Yes.
Epilogue.
Epilogue.
Well, good.
Thanks.
Can't wait to hear it. I have some of that
I
stuff
appreciate
as well.
your affirmation.
I have some of that stuff as well.
From 4 years ago?
No, not anything from 4 years ago. Some of the things
Don't
you already
step on my
mentioned.
shtick, man.
But I do have an old game that I'm going to talk about because it's going to serve as a warning, and that is Price is Right. The Decades.
Is that old?
It's older.
It's older, yeah.
I don't know, not old, but
okay.
it's older.
At least a month.
I think it was maybe this year still, but it's.
Yeah.
But I was able to get it for $5, and I'm going to tell you why that is not a deal.
I remember them showing the ad on Price is Right.
Really?
That's
Half
shocking.
the time you don't know when that Price is Right is being aired, so you don't know when
It was
actually happened.
I got you. Yeah. And then I also checked out Spec Ops: The Line, which I'm really excited to talk about. So that's what I got.
Cool.
Shonix.
I just have pretty much I've got a smattering of what everybody else had. Deadlight, Wreckateer. I bought both of those games.
Nice.
Transformers.
You going for your 400 points?
I am.
So now you're all in no matter what.
They
could all be ass.
I have to.
And now you have to get that $5.
What was the other one I'm interested in is
Dust?
yes. So I mean, then you get $4 back. So not $4.
And that hybrid comes out this week, I think.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I did have the beta on that one.
That's right. You did play that beta. I forgot about that.
And I just don't know if that's
that's right,
something that I can really play like all the time. So,
Okay.
yeah. Anyway.
But you got to buy it to get your 400 points back.
Well, no, I only need to buy one more game.
Oh,
And
it's
if I
not
buy-
buying all of them.
It's
No,
by 3.
You buy
Gotcha.
3. And it doesn't matter if it's the 800
That's
or
why
1200.
that's why it's only 400 points back.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
Thanks. I don't read things. I just see it. I'm like, what?
Well, it's in a big briefcase. It's pretty cool. It's in a big briefcase that this guy's carrying around with him, and then he opens it up. All the games are in there. Seen that?
No, I haven't seen
It's
it.
a cool ad.
What
Trust
are you
me.
talking about? I don't know what's going on. You got anything else?
I
interrupted you.
don't think I can talk about it, but I've got the dashboard beta or not dashboard update jobby on there.
Oh, you can't talk about it.
I don't think so. So
I don't think so either.
it's pretty cool.
Did you have to sign?
Oops.
You just talked about
Darn
it. I think you agreed to not talk about
Edit
it.
yes. Edit that.
That means you're cut off from the internet forever.
but I use it.
I should note that nobody from Microsoft listens to what we spill out here every 2 weeks. Don't worry about it.
And you can't
You're in
watch
the clear.
porn with it. Just to
Can't watch porn with it?
No.
Well, thank you for doing the work and checking. They probably don't want that out there. That's
know.
what they're going to get most mad about now. So does it have like filters on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is good. It's just that's smart.
So you were just researching that to
Yes.
test
Oh,
it out to
uh-huh.
see,
Of course.
and you were like, "Fuck this! I don't know why even use this."
Because there's
Stupid feature.
No, there's a lot of other awesome things to it too. It's awesome. So, it's nice for.
We're
guys
talking
that-
about it.
Yeah, I know. I'm not. I don't have it. I'm assuming this is what's gonna have it.
And it probably won't let you look at porn.
Maybe my Xbox has parental blocks on it.
Summer might have got in there.
Could be.
Darn it.
She called me and I told her how.
I don't know how to fix it. Well, that
Because I was like, this is awesome.
how to fix it.
I will block all that shit.
That would be funny. And I go to play a game and it won't let me. And then I'm like,
That'd
what's
be
the
great.
code? What's the code? And she's like, I don't know. It's your Xbox.
Babe, I didn't set anything on it. That'll be it right there.
Okay, you guys can't talk anymore.
All right. Well, before we get into games, I have a couple emails. Actually, one email and one comment that I'm going to respond to. And I haven't shared them with you guys, so it'll be all new. And one of them's in defense of Sean, so I don't know why I'm even bringing it up to the show.
Sweet.
Maybe I won't.
Your $5 is in the mail.
Here's what I'm going to do first, though. We did get a comment on our webpage, and it's something that we've used all of these 98 episodes, plus some extras probably, and don't often mention. So I want to go ahead and address it now. But Christian, let us know.
Oh, you mean our Libsyn website?
No, this is from our signed-in podcast.com website. But it's about our theme song.
Oh,
which
that's what we used for 98 episodes.
Correct.
I'm like,
We have not had that website for 98 episodes.
Christian,
I'm just going to let it slide.
Christian
'cause
wrote
I
us
don't
a
wanna
comment.
embarrass him.
I embarrass myself more than anybody could ever do. Wrote us a comment on our website and said, "You guys rock. Always fun listening to your podcast. Thank you for the blatant pandering, but we'll accept it. But really, please tell me, where can I get that intro music from? Who composed it? What game does it play in? Why is it so great? Why can't I stop listening to it over and over again? Because it's awesome."
It is awesome.
And that's why. You can get it for free, Christian. The artist is Raptorface, and the name of the song is Cherry Blossom. So I will put a link of that to, or a link to that. I think you can get all of his stuff for free, like a bunch of his various albums that you can get for free online. And I'll put a link of that in our show notes. So just hit the website again, and they'll be on there this week for this episode. So thanks again for writing us, and check out those songs because it's great in music.
great in music.
Great music.
Great in music. It's grating on my ears.
Our other email that we got, the other email that we have comes from Greg, and Greg is from the Overseas Connection, which is, there's a website, Gaming for the Elderly, which I think is for older gamers. I don't think like 80. But I haven't done any research either, so maybe they are geriatric. I don't know, but I think it's more older, which we probably are.
I'd consider us in that.
Yeah, we don't want to
get close to the age bracket.
We don't talk about that.
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
We don't talk about that.
At least me.
So Greg DeLacy, he writes us and says, OMG. Now, we've been here before with emails on OMG
Wait a
that start
minute.
this way.
I think we found our commenter.
But it's going to go a different way, okay? So
MG.
I will start again. Hey guys, OMG. Listening to the show this week, I found myself having deja vu. Sean, I had the exact same experience you had during the bridge mission for Steel Battalion Heavy Armor. All right, so he's right with you. Yeah. I crawled to the plunger and died over and over and over. I too did that crawling 10 plus times, even took a day off and came back to it and still died over and over. Clearly it had to be a Kinect issue. Well, as it turns out, it's not. As you were crawling and shit is hitting the fan, you will be instructed by one of your crew members to hold still. After a few moments of bullets flying all around you, you get the all clear.
That's why you're getting shot. They're like, don't go in front of that machine gun!
And you move the last few feet and hit the plunger. And this leads me to my next comment. I don't think the flaws in Steel Battalion line connect. I think it falls squarely on Capcom and From Software. It's just bad game design.
Yeah.
Directions are not clear enough. QuickTime events happen way too quickly for even button hitting. A prime example was having an enemy open the hatch and try to kill you. You literally have only seconds to react before you are dead. I was still trying to figure out why the camera was suddenly swinging up and had no clue that what you had to do to defend yourself, and then I was dead. Anyway, Steel Battalion could have been a great game for Kinect, but due to developer decisions or design and UI, it just fails ultimately. Thanks, and keep up the great work, Greg DeLacy. So thank you, Greg.
Thanks, Greg.
Even though you were in defense of Sean, which I don't know if I agree with.
Well, I didn't hear
was-
those orders.
It
I
was
must have got shot in the ear.
partially in defense.
That's true.
And then pointed out, you should have heard something.
You should have listened. Hey, I had the same problem. This is what I did, dumbass.
Why don't you play better?
That's how I read it.
Yeah.
I should have paraphrased.
Yeah, you should have.
Hey, Greg wrote in. He said, "Stop being dumb.
Exactly. That's
Pay
about
attention
right.
to the instructions," and it works. That's all he
Greg.
said. The end. So thanks to everybody for writing in, and we appreciate it. You can write us at comments@signedinpodcast.com, and we'd love to hear from you guys. So anytime. All right. Talk about some games.
Let's do it.
Indie.
Oh, I'm gonna kick it off.
Are you?
That was your intro sound.
Yeah, with Dead Sea.
Whip?
Yes.
With Dead Sea, it sold for 80 points. It was from BM Games. I can only tell you what the BM stands for.
Oh, no.
This is an action-adventure game where you're a girl lost at sea in a shark-infested sea. I didn't know where to go half the time. Okay, so
Should we paraphrase this? We
game,
normally don't give bad reviews of indie games,
but I had to talk
but we're
about
breaking
this
the
game.
mold for this.
I had to talk about this.
So basically,
game.
it's a swimming game / dodging game.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Because I played this as well.
You start off, and it reminds me of like when people try to do like bad, like digital reenactments on television. You know,
Okay.
where, like they show a guy like moving to the TV.
Okay, yeah, yeah,
oh,
like
he
those-
was going to grab a remote.
Those
or-
Taiwan
Yeah, exactly.
videos.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a.
No, that's pretty accurate.
That's what it was. But
There's no. My favorite was that the sound effects were really inconsistent. Like
Yeah.
there's some sound effects, but like when she falls in the water, there's like nothing.
yeah, there's a lot of weird aspects to the game. They show some really neat pictures. Like neat being, I have to download this game because I want to see it happen. Because there's like this big shark jumping out of the water in one of them.
Oh,
and it's
yeah,
really
yeah.
bad graphics. So I was like, I have to try this. I had a lot of sharks swimming around me, and I ended up drowning because I didn't know what I was supposed to do. I would start swimming, but I didn't know where to swim, and then sharks would come, and they'd go to this like cutscene of like a shark coming
Yeah.
to you. It reminded me of like Resident Evil back in the day, like when the hunters were after you and stuff like that. So I'm thinking, whoa, there's a shark coming, and then it's like dodge. So I dodged, and then I'm like, well, wait, so that was it. And so then you swim some more, and then what happens is you swim, and then you'll have to dodge because you're causing enough like commotion in the water. But I never knew where to swim.
If you look to the north where the sun is setting, there's a tiny buoy
Oh,
that you can see there.
dang it! I should have swam.
I
that buoy.
never made there.
Thank you, Hey, Greg. You don't have to write.
Then there's a guy that says, hold for a second.
One of the pictures was a buoy, her
Yeah,
on the buoy.
yeah,
So
and she's
I
like
was looking for it.
Punching the shark in the picture.
Yeah.
You don't ever get to punch a shark?
No.
Unfortunately. Well,
if you
I
get to
didn't
the
make
buoy.
it there. Yeah,
I
you
didn't-
might. I don't know. But the
That'd
thing
be
is
great.
that it keeps cutting. I mean, you swim for like 10 seconds, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden it goes to this cutscene. And some of the times those cutscenes can be really long. And like if
Yes.
for some odd reason the AI decided to make the shark go way out past you first and then turn around, because it's all like shark vision, and so your character's just sitting there still in the water.
Yeah.
You know, or
and then
like
you die.
G-string,
Yeah.
a very bad looking bottom half type
Yeah.
of thing. Yeah.
And so and then when it
I don't
comes
know
and then
about
when it
that.
and then when it comes out, your camera's not in the position that it was. So then it takes me 5 seconds to reposition the camera towards the buoy so I can start swimming again. Then I get up to that speed, and then another shark comes by.
Cool.
Yeah, I was not.
What if you could play as the
impressed.
shark?
I would
that be a
love
better
that
game? So you're going after
Versus.
swimmers
Yes.
and avoiding like harpoons?
Well, she got kicked off her boat. I didn't know why she couldn't just get back on the boat and wait it out.
Because
But-
it was upside down.
yeah, but you can't get on. I've seen
It's
shark movies.
Slick.
I've seen
It's
shark
slick.
movies.
No, it's rounded.
Well, yeah, I understand that. I don't. But
It's a big boat.
I'm taking.
I
apart
just like
this
you're
game.
like, but I like the you're like, why can't you do it? And then Craig's like, it's slick. Come on, when you capsize a boat, you just slide right off of that thing. You guys are having like a real conversation about why it wouldn't work.
But definitely check out Dead Sea if you get a chance. Just download it real quick, try it out. Who knows? Pay that $1 for it, and maybe you'll get to punch a shark.
I was to say she was punching a shark, right?
I think there was a picture. It looked like, or maybe that's
I don't
just.
remember.
Or she always has
I cannot
clenched
confirm.
fist.
Yes,
Awesome.
She's mad.
she's ruining the day.
God damn you, shark!
Damning them. That's what I was trying to think of. Yes. Well, I paid $1 for Sushi Castle from Spilt Milk Studios. This one came to my attention because of Kush over at Pixelated Sausage. He's been doing a bunch of indie game videos, and this was one of the ones that he did. And I had passed over this game originally, actually, but after seeing his video, I was like, that actually looks kind of fun. As he described it, it's kind of like oh my god, I've just forgotten the name of the game. There's the something of Isaac,
Slack Circus.
the calling of Isaac.
I don't know.
Yeah, you wouldn't because it's a PC game.
You don't know what I do and don't know.
You don't know.
I think I do.
Okay, you might. I don't know.
So it's a twin.
I don't know what I do and don't know.
It's a twin stick shooter where you kind of crawl through dungeons, and so it's a type of genre called roguelike, where it randomly generates the dungeons every time, and then you can pick up items, and when you get a new item, you're not quite sure if an item is good or bad. Think of like Cursed Loot or Epic Dungeon was the original incarnation of that. Yeah. So item collection is like that, and so you're a ninja running around with like this firework bazooka.
Yeah.
And shooting things, other ninjas and supernatural entities and zombies and stuff like that. And it's pretty fun. You pick up lots of different power-ups throughout. They got some goofy ones, like there's a Boba Fett mask and so that gets you more money from things because you're a bounty hunter.
Nice.
And then there's like one where there was a big plate of food and you eat it, and you gain a bunch of health, but you also become super fat, and so you're slower.
That's awesome.
And your character is actually super fat.
Oh man,
it's really cool, and there's like it gives you a lot of those things throughout the game, especially if you go through different levels. And like one was a lost soul, and so there's like this evil skull thing floating around behind me, like occasionally firing at my enemies and stuff. So it's cool, and you can go into shops and buy more stuff, but mostly you're running around, just trying to clear out the level, figure out the map, because you have to figure out the map room by room. Some rooms are locked with like this tape that you need scissors to get through, and you have these bombs that you can use to get to treasures and whatnot in the different rooms. A lot of fun, and it's one death and you're done.
And
basically.
It's going towards, you're basically looking for a boss, right?
Yeah, there's bosses
There's a boss
in each
in
level.
and then that's what ends that level.
Yes.
Then you move on. Because
you can even go back, like after you beat the boss, you can actually go back throughout the level if you you missed a room
and without
or something.
leaving.
Yeah, and then you can leave after that.
I'd actually played this before last episode, and I forgot to mention it and left it off my notes entirely. And so I'm trying to remember now, but it was like 3 weeks ago I played it. But I remembered enjoying it and thought it was really clever.
Yeah, and smooth. I think I said Spilt Milk Studios.
Well,
I meant Milkstone Studios.
Oh,
Spilt Milk does other games.
Yeah, Milkstone, which has done a ton of stuff.
They do a lot of really
that
good
we've talked
games.
about.
Yeah.
And so the video quality or the animation quality is there, graphical quality. It's a really clever design. I'm enjoying it a lot. I already purchased it, and I was having some fun with it earlier today. It's a good game.
Maybe I'll try to find $1 to spend on it.
Yeah, Sushi Castle.
Scrounge around in your virtual pockets.
I think I got that. My virtual couch.
Yes.
That'd be a cool app. Never mind.
No.
Yeah, it would.
I did check out, though, Slick.
Yeah.
Comes from Halcyon Softworks. It is 80 points. It's a platforming game in the style of, I would say, more like Super Meat Boy almost. Super Meat Boy, Super Mario Brothers.
A little bit of mixture, yeah.
Yeah, because, you have the death thing and like the insta-kill on everything.
Yeah.
It's 5 different worlds that you're going through total. I think there's 100 different levels in the game. It all looks like it's a GBA, like a Game Boy.
Yeah.
Not GBA even, just GB.
Yeah, just GB. Yeah.
GBO.
It's the green and gray basically is all you have. The tan and gray.
Yeah.
So it looks like a Game Boy game, and it's a platformer. So you're just moving around the screen and getting to an exit door.
Sure.
And you're doing that by jumping onto blocks, jumping onto enemies. There's some enemies that you can kill. There's some that can't be killed, but you can use them to keep bouncing off of them. So they'll have these like turtles-like things. I don't know what they are exactly, but
They look like turtles.
They have shells, and so they'll be walking on like an area that has all these spikes. So you can bounce on them continually and get to the end while they're walking, and then basically you're just jumping all the time.
Yeah.
Did you try playing?
And you can jump all the time.
That's what I'm saying. You can leave your A down and you just keep jumping.
Yeah.
Did you try getting through a level like where you didn't ever let up the A?
I tried.
Because I think that was awesome. I was doing that like for a while. I'm like, I'm just gonna not let go. I'm gonna keep just jump through the whole thing and not stand still.
Well, when I was playing it, at one part I just kept my finger on it because it was like a weird moment, and I'm just like kind of moving my guy.
Yeah,
There was like a fireball, and I had to avoid it. So then my finger was on it. So when I hit the ground, I jumped again. I'm like, whoa, what? I didn't even press the button. And then I realized, you can hold this and just bing, 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 bing. Yeah.
So,
I like that game.
Yeah, it's platforming. There's really all there is to it. You're getting to the exit door. But there becomes, I saw, even in just the little bit that I was playing it, I saw that there was becoming some crazy ass levels that were going on. As far as, it wasn't just maneuvering around things, it was falling and now falling at an angle. And that's where it became like the Super Meat Boy thing for me, where it's like, you got to get from this platform up top to this one down below, and there's all these spikes. So you have to do it by angling at the right time, like getting as close as you can to these spikes, and then at the last minute pushing over to the right and getting on that ledge. And that was very, Super Meat Boy.
Yeah.
Except that you had to go way back to the very beginning start point when you died.
Yes.
And maneuver through the entire thing again, and not just where you were last on a safe level.
Yeah.
So that was kind of harsh. But it's that kind of game. So what are you gonna do?
And I found like where like the whole Meat Boy I didn't even put the two together, but probably because that game frustrated me to the point where I haven't made it to the levels on this game.
Yeah.
To where they've gotten where the Meat Boy, it seemed like those hit me really early on. That made me like, I can't play this game because it wasn't for me. But this game has just that little bit of it to where I can still play it. And then Summertime was watching me play it, and she just was like, "Ooh, what is that?" And I was like, because she loves Super Mario Brothers, and like automatically she's like, "What is that?" And then like she saw a couple levels down, and she's like, "Well, you keep dying." I'm like, "You play this."
Thanks for the help.
Yeah, you try. And then she's like, "Well, wait a minute, no." She's like, "Oh, those," because that's what I like about the game is some of the graphics. They'll show like background stuff, but you can't jump on that.
Right.
So like
that's the very Super Mario Brother part about it, where they got the little things sticking out of the background, like the toadstools, the giant things,
And they have the, just background, but it's like you have to go to the blocks or certain parts. So that kind of throws me off because she's like, "Well, just jump down to that." I'm like, "I can't.
It's not a thing.
It's not a thing." She goes, "Just go through that." I'm like, "That's a wall." But I think she wants to play it. So
it's a good game. It's 80 points, so it's $1.
Yeah.
Check it if you're into those kind of games. Check it out. And it's just really well done. It's really low res and old school looking, but
pretty slick though.
I see what you did there.
His name is Mick Slick.
Mick Slick, get on it. All right, that's it for me.
Cool.
Anything else from you guys? Indie guys?
Talk about some Blaster.
Yeah, I played a little Blaster.
Blaster, this is 80 points from Coder Systems. It's a platformer again. This one, you're flying in the ship, and then you get in some trouble, right? And you crash on this planet, right?
Right.
And then you need crystals to like refuel your. I don't know. You need crystals to like refuel your ship, and then you need to find. And then all of a sudden, there's these DNA packets or DNA. What do they call them? DNA packs.
Okay.
And they're all over, and you find those. They're hidden.
Bitches need their DNA packs.
Yeah, and you have like a jetpack, and you shoot, and you can pick up guns.
So you got to pick up bullets.
You got to pick up bullets by the way, because they do go away.
I did,
and the villains are hard to freaking kill.
They are. They take forever.
Right. And like I enjoyed this game. I love the look of it. I had fun while I was playing it. I don't want to take it off my hard drive because I want to give it some more tries. I haven't paid for it yet. But there's something about it I like.
It's simple in its controls, but it still could have used a little more coaxing into the actual game. Because like you start and you're right next to a ship, and there's like this big spider thing going back and forth in this pit, and I'm like, okay, I'll jump down and shoot that. Oh, I died. Okay, I'll grab this gun. And I'll grab the gun now, I'll go shoot. Oh, that did not work. Yeah, I don't think you're supposed to try to kill that thing. It looks metal now.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But
I had a problem with like the monsters or the creatures coming down hills because I couldn't shoot up at them.
Yeah, see, like this game has like because the controls for that are a little bit weird too because like you have to angle.
What do you have to do? Yeah,
you angle your movement.
Okay.
Which doesn't make sense to me because if you're I hate that when I'm trying, like if you're standing still and you kind of move and you're shooting, you can then turn your gun.
I see.
But the problem is if you're not shooting, then you start moving in that direction.
Right.
But the angle's not good either. Yeah. The angle doesn't match the angle of the
incline.
Yes, exactly. So it's harder to kill this thing. So I found myself just using my jetpack to fly over everything and then die. But the graphics were pretty simple. They got this like old school, like almost like organic type of splatter house. There's like weird eyeballs here and there, kind of almost like a Metroid, like you know, with all the weird things going on in the background.
Yeah, but this is like at least 16-bit, maybe more like 32-bit.
And I thought it was a little cooler. I dig the look of it. I haven't erased it. Nice. I thought it was a good price, but I'm getting so frustrated with it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's just me and I want to play some more time on it. But
I got frustrated with it.
It's worth checking out.
Maybe it's for the hardcore.
I think it is.
You're not hardcore.
I'm not. I'm just parkour.
You're not.
You're parkour.
You're
parkour.
You're
par for the course.
No, I guess I am hardcore.
You're more like parfait.
There you go. But not even a buster.
No. I don't even know what's happening anymore. Are we done with indie? We got anything else?
Yeah, we're done.
All right. XBLA?
Yes.
What we got, kids? Who wants to start?
Let's start off with Wreckateer.
Yeah, let's go in order. Wreckateer.
Wreckateer.
I'm going to wreck it.
Check it to wreck it.
Yes. Did you play this?
No.
Oh, okay.
You should
I'll
have.
just Wreck-It Ralph. That's all because I can't wait for that movie.
Oh man.
I see.
So then anytime I hear wreck now, I just say I'm going to wreck it because I'm like a 2-year-old.
So it's a Connect only, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Connect only game.
Yeah, that's why I didn't check it out
Well, that's why I
because
figured.
I'm an idiot.
Well, yeah, but some of those have like some of them have had controls that Tower of Babel or whatever had regular controls.
Regular,
as well.
yeah.
And you wouldn't have known that.
I know, but that's because I didn't check out those games for a while.
That's what I'm saying.
Anyway, but I knew that about this one.
Okay, and so
Tell me.
you control this ballista. You're working with this wrecking crew essentially.
Yeah.
Wreck and
Roll,
No.
what is the other
I
guy's
can't
name?
think of the other guy's name.
Not a tier.
No.
wreck, and a tier.
But Wreck is the guy you're always having to beat his score, though, too.
Yes, yeah, he's the primary wrecker. The other guy designs the stuff.
Wreck Hamzersmith or something like that. It's a weird last name. Wreck and Reckenstein.
And so there's these goblins.
I'm gonna wreck it.
There's these goblins overrunning the kingdom, parts of the kingdom. And so of course the king's response is to, hey, go over there and blow that shit up.
Yeah.
This castle is full of goblins. Obviously, the solution is to destroy the castle.
That's the only way to get rid of the goblins.
yeah, they just always come back.
Apparently, they won the battle.
They dig a hole in the bottom of the castle. That's the thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you use this ballista, and you can. Once the shot is loaded, apparently there's different kinds of shots.
Yep.
Like they show you a little bit at the very beginning, but you only really use the primary shot in the demo at least.
Yeah.
And so then you have to walk up and you grab onto the ballista with your hands, and then you actually walk back to pull it back. And so how far back you walk determines how strong of a shot you're powering up, which was a little difficult for me. I have a little more constrained room in terms of how far back I go, so I kept backing up into my couch, and then the Kinect might get confused sometimes because it would start to think that the couch was part of me because I was touching it. So then you kind of aim around, and I liked that when you're aiming, it would highlight what you're targeting, because there are power-ups and there are special goblins that are like floating around and stuff like that. There are things that you want to hit that are maybe a little more fine-tuned, and so those things would even light up. So it wasn't very hard figuring out which direction you were trying to go to. So what was more fun was kind of trying to figure out what would happen once it got through your primary target.
Yes.
And started hitting things behind it.
The ricochets and the bouncing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I bought the game flat out.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun with the demo early on, and I
did
just
too.
bought it. I was like, I'm having fun with this one. I love the connectability of it. And then the different kind of shots you get are really fun.
That first one you have is like a shot that like deploys some wings, and then you use your hands to kind of guide it around. Otherwise, like the plane shots, you're like batting it through the air, like knocking it to the side, or like trying to get it to go up. So like when you go bowling and you throw a really bad bowl.
No.
Yeah.
Never.
You roll.
And then you're standing there going like, ugh, get over, waving your hands, hoping that the wind will do it. That's what you do in the game.
Oh, what I do when I go bowling, I just throw strikes nonstop, and that usually works out for me.
Yeah. But you're pretty good.
It's no fun.
You got a skull in your bowling ball. It's pretty cool.
No, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but that's basically how you control most of the regular shots.
Just hoping to like wave it over.
Well, you get points for that.
Yeah.
As you're knocking it through the air.
That's what I thought was really cool about it, because you can just get points for doing that. So like, I'll just sit there and just pound it up in the same spot.
Yeah.
But as the game goes on and you get more different weapons, then you can do it even more. There's one that splits.
Do you get different
open.
ballistas, or is it just the different shots?
Just same ballistas that I've ran into so far.
Sure.
But I've gotten, I think, halfway through the game. And I've played for a while now. I think I'm on like 6. There's 6 different castles, and they all, I think, have 4 different levels. Before that.
Even in the demo, I would like get to the end and like I would have a pretty good score, but maybe I didn't beat that guy's score. I'm like, I really could have gotten that last tower knocked down or something. And I'll just like I was just gonna immediately replay it. And I was like, okay, let me strategize how I'm gonna hit this. I did this one shot and I missed the stuff behind it.
Yep.
I want this to go through, hit the wall, hit the tower, and then roll over that house behind it.
And that works sometimes.
Exactly.
So you guys liked it.
I liked it a lot. If it wasn't for my space limitations, I probably would have purchased it by now.
Sure.
Yeah.
If I rearrange my living room again, then that's a game that I'm going to want to play.
I thought at $10 price point, I thought it was fantastic.
Fantastic.
I was just like, give me some of those Wreckateers. but like I said, I've had so much fun with it. There is you can play multiplayer, and that's just local. So I thought that was really neat. But I did, like you were saying, I found myself, even if I got a gold,
Right.
I was like,
I think I can do a little bit better.
I can do a little bit better than that. And in any game that kind of like, even if you do well,
right,
and gets you to do it again, and I thought
I didn't get everything.
Yeah, exactly.
It's got that addictive nature of iOS games or handheld games, but it's a little more sophisticated in the controls, so it doesn't just feel like, oh well, why aren't I just playing this on a handheld device?
Yeah, I felt that it was very smooth because when you pull, you just move your arms out
to let go
straight out, and sometimes with the Kinect, like it will like misread that, and I haven't had any problems with that, like that kind of movement, and like even the menus controls are really nice because a lot of the backs are all your left hand, so it's really easy just to make it all work out.
Yeah, I thought the menus in particular were very solid in terms of like locking onto what I was trying to actually hit.
And the graphics are
because everything I saw about it, like I looked at it, I'm like, this looks terrible. Like I was really down on it the whole time. So
I think it's a lot of fun.
I'm glad to hear that you guys liked it.
The characters might be a little cheesy.
A little bit. I fell in my couch once though. I was really kind of getting into it a little bit, and then I was like backing up, and I like fell onto my couch.
You're like, I can pull this back further,
and then all of a sudden, my little Kinect guy's leg was going out like this, but he didn't let go of it.
You crippled your guy.
He didn't let go of it, and then I stood up and brought my arms out, and then it flew out. I was like, "This is awesome."
He's a champ.
I was like, "They should have just cut me out."
Broken leg and everything. Yeah, right.
But some of the main weapons that you get are like some of the bombs, I guess it would be, are really neat. There's one that splits open, and then it's kind of like the flying one. So you have like 4 different, and you can kind of mow through things.
Like, I see.
Yeah, and those the flying
like a line
ones.
shot?
Yeah, the flying ones you almost want to go in kind of circles, and then you dive bomb. I had a lot of fun with the game.
I liked it a lot.
And I'm like I said, I'm about halfway done with it.
How's the Fame Star stuff? It's Fame Star, not Superstar, which is what I think I was calling
the
it
Fame
before.
Star stuff. I enjoy that little aspect of the game.
There's a lot of challenges that you can do.
Yes.
So like it adds
weekly.
a lot of it updates stuff.
It updates weekly.
It's really smart.
It did pull me. It did. I'll tell you. I do play full out. I'm kind of going off on
full
a tangent, but full naked. I do play naked a lot.
Well, now I understand why your leg was moving around. It might not have been your leg.
Yeah, you're right. But whoa. I lost train of thought there.
Sorry.
Full House Poker is what you were going to say.
So like I've played a lot of that game.
yeah.
You're welcome.
But now I'm like playing a lot of that game.
Oh,
like I've
did
always
Fame Star get onto there?
Yes.
Nice.
And I
Why do we never play that together? Like, I don't
know.
ever play anything online with people anymore. What is my problem?
I don't know. It's nice to get back into poker, and I got in some rooms.
Yeah.
Ooh, these guys were playing. Like I was like,
These are all the seasoned pros that never stop.
I would have been in there ruining everybody's game.
and I'm like, okay. And then you get bonus for that. So now that I'm playing poker anyway, and now I'm getting this avatar stuff, and I think it's really neat. This whole like the setup challenges, and then you win like certain things, and I think I was like rated like pretty good actually because I'm probably the only one doing it.
It's just nice to add replayability, especially to these arcade games.
Yeah.
So we should check out because it's supposedly on World of Kiflings too, or going to it.
Yeah, well, I know
Keflings,
that.
sorry.
Yeah, it's those 3
Sorry.
right now. Those are the only 3 because you get.
So it is on there now.
It is on there now.
Yeah, you get suits.
I'm just gonna repeat everything you say. There you go.
Well, I don't know if it's on there now. I'm just saying you get suits from
you
there
sure?
because I was dressed
Are you
as
sure?
a lamb, and
As a lamb?
yeah, a big woolly lamb, and then there was
The
another
sheep
one.
you get the cotton from.
Nice.
There's
or
another.
wool.
Yeah.
You don't get cotton from sheep.
Well, eventually. It depends on how much you want to break it down.
You know cotton is a plant, right?
Oh, yeah. That's right.
You have some strange sheep.
Lanolin?
Don't worry
Are these
about
chia
lanolin?
sheep?
I might have strange plants.
I stand.
You don't know. You don't know. All right. Anything else about Wreckateer? We're good?
I thought it was totally worth
All right.
the 800 points.
Well, I will take a look at it
Yeah.
then.
Excellent.
Someday.
Someday.
Don't dismiss me with mm-hmm. I know what I can read into that. Deadlight.
Deadlight.
We all played Deadlight.
Yes.
Some of us more than others. I checked out the demo.
Me too.
And so I sat on the demo like a couple days and I was like, I kind of enjoyed it, whatever. Then we got a review copy. And I was like, all right, I'll play the whole thing.
Sure.
So I played the whole thing. Sean, you picked it up though, right?
Yes,
you
I
bought
did.
it right out.
It was an impulse buy.
Yeah.
I was really enjoying the demo, like
Yeah.
early on, and I'm like, you know what? there's another game I'm going to want out there.
So I immediately have the feeling when I sit down and play the game, and I was looking forward to it because I like the stylized look of it. I really like the presentation.
Yeah, the environments, the backgrounds are astounding.
And so it's totally, I mean, I had this immediate feel, obviously, of the Shadow Complex, kind of 2D, 2.5D adventure, platforming adventure, action adventure kind of game. Also, obviously the shadows that they're using is very limbo-ish.
Right.
Yes.
And some of even the environments look a little limbo-ish as well.
Yep.
Maybe a little too much, but
Sometimes.
so I immediately had that feeling, and I was enjoying the game a lot. And I had seen some negative comments about the game as this week was going, and like some bad reviews were coming. I wasn't looking at reviews, but I saw some things and some people talking about how it was getting bad reviews.
Sure.
And so I played the demo, and I'm like, I don't know what people are talking about. This is kind of fun. I like it.
Yeah.
I wasn't sold on the voice acting.
Yeah.
And the voice acting is really bad. It is.
Yeah.
It's probably the worst part of the game.
Right.
For me, it is really not so good at all. But everything else I was having a really good time with. And so, you're playing along as this 2.5D side-scrolling action adventure platformer where you're fighting off these, not zombies, but they're
28 days later.
Shadows.
Yeah, shadows that are like, infected people that are coming after you, trying to get you. They're like zombies.
In the 80s.
And it takes place in 1986 in Seattle. So you're in this post-apocalyptic time frame, and you're trying to basically you get separated at the beginning of the game from your party, and you're trying to get with them.
Yeah.
Well, you're also trying to
meet
head
up
to
with
this
them.
particular save point.
Yeah, you're trying
save
to
point, not
save point. But every time they say it, it sounds like save point. And I'm like, why do they keep saying save point? This is really weird. Like, this game's really breaking that fourth wall. Hey, meet us at the save point.
It's like, well, yeah.
So that guy can save the game.
Open your menu.
So you're meeting up with your party, and so the whole time you're just trying to maneuver around these environments, going through buildings, climbing through windows. You do eventually pick up like an axe for your close combat because you do have to do a little bit of attacking, or at least knocking them out of the way, the shadows. But you then get later on, you get some other like projectile weapons like a gun, a shotgun, and I think there's you get a slingshot at some point as well.
Oh.
So you're maneuvering through. Sorry, spoiler.
It's Wreckateer, actually.
Yeah.
It is.
Sweet.
And then you're destroying castles with goblins and so I was having a blast. I was having a really good time with the game, and you're running through the environments, and some of the things are just really cleverly done as far as everything's kind of in a shadow. So a building will be in a shadow, and you'll climb into the window, and then all of a sudden it'll like go into a close up of that room that you're in, and now it won't be in shadow anymore.
Yeah.
And so that's all you're seeing, and then like the outsides of those are the shadow, and so you can see things trying to get in the doors and things like that. And then you climb out the other side, and it'll pull back out, and that room will be a shadow now. Just design-wise, I thought it was really, really well done.
Yeah, the atmospherically, it's really impressive.
The tension's there, too.
Yeah, and they do that, too, where sometimes they'll bust through a wall or through a door, and so you run out the window, and then they continue to chase you if there was like an open door.
Yeah,
so it's not just you're done, you've moved on to the next section, even though when it blacks out, it kind of makes it feel like that. But they're still coming, and I like that persistence of it.
Exactly.
I think I realized I was a little bit scarred still when I started playing this, because visually, I mean, it's got its own unique style, but it also reminded me visually of the War of the Worlds platformer.
Yeah,
which kind
I
of
can see that
traumatized
too.
me a little bit. and I'd seen one of the poorer reviews, not a terrible review, it was more of a middle of the line review, and one of the things they were talking about was control response. I'm like, oh, I was having War of the Worlds flashbacks.
Yeah.
And so, but I didn't have that problem.
I will say it does happen in some areas.
Does
and
it?
that was one of my things I was going to get to, which was control response issues,
Sure.
and there are.
Yeah.
There are some specific spots where it is you have to hit the button at this exact moment.
Yeah.
And if you do it just before, you'll be like a mile away from where you're supposed to go to. But if you do it when you're on that like one spot, all of a sudden you make the jump.
Right.
So it's not even like it looks like you wouldn't be able to make it no matter what.
Sure.
But if you hit it from this one specific moment, he'll grab it.
But that's nowhere near War of the Worlds.
Exactly. Yeah. Those moments.
Trust me.
Those moments happened,
Yeah.
and there were some frustrating parts of that, but it was few and far between.
Yeah.
However, I don't want to spoil anything for the game, but it's relatively short. I think it was about a 2-hour experience for me.
Sure.
Now there are tons of objects to find, like hidden things in each level, And they do a good job of letting you know on your chapter select screen how many things are in that level and what you've found as far as number wise. So it's easy to go back and find them again. But I ran through in I think 2 hours, and I still am missing maybe 15 of the 60, 70 some items that are in the game. So I still have to go back and find some of those.
Right.
It's 3 acts. The first 2 are probably 3/4 of the game, and then the last act is probably about a 15-minute thing. And it's really frustrating.
Oh, really?
And so when I read these reviews, like when I got through the first chapter, the second act, and I'm like, I should have played it better. Let me know when you get there.
I know. It's not going to happen.
You'll get there. So I'm playing, and I got through Act 2, and I'm like, I don't know where these people are coming from. I'm like, I'm having kind of a good time. Yeah, there's been some issues, and you know, there is some trial and error parts where you die, but checkpoints are really.
I thought they were really good.
They're really forgiving.
Checkpoint system,
And there's only a couple points where it made you really do a lot of stuff over. But by and large, I didn't even see where they would autosave on me.
Right.
And I would like die, and I'd be like, I don't know how far I'm even going back. And it's like right at the top of where I was. So it wasn't really that, punishable. But there's that last chapter, and it turns into kind of a, I can't even remember the game that it was, Dragon Slayer? Where it's almost trial and error, where I don't know what I need to do, so I'm just going to keep trying it. I went this way, and I guess that doesn't work, so I'm going to keep doing this. Or there are things where you bust in and you die before you learn what you're supposed to be doing.
Sure.
So now I know next time, but there was no way for you to know that you needed to do this.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that in the third act, and it kind of got old. And so maybe it wasn't spaced out enough throughout the whole game, and it just shoved it all in at the end there. But so I could see where if that's your last impression, it doesn't leave you with a good impression of the game because it's easily the weakest part for me.
Okay, that's too bad.
But that being said, I still had a good time. I thought, it's a quick game. It's a 2-hour run.
Right.
But if you enjoy
that's
this,
actually kind of enticing to me.
And see, that's the other thing. I'm like, and when I read that,
I like some games that are short.
Yeah.
And I read that, and I was like, when I saw that other people were saying, well, the end is like kind of short.
Right.
I was like, well, that's all I have left. I'm going to totally go through it. Whereas if I looked at that game and I had like 4 more hours, it might still be sitting there. Because sometimes it's just I don't have the desire to sit down and play more. So I like that it was kind of just an experience and you're done.
Dose of fun.
I agree.
Yeah.
So it's really well done. Like I said, the only bad thing I can really take it down on is that last act and the voice acting, which is terrible.
It's pretty bad.
I
didn't like it.
I really enjoyed because you say how some of the rooms would go from dark to light, but then it's like you'd be in like almost an apartment complex, and you'd be moving across, and then a room would light up underneath you after you had already passed. And you're like, oh, so you'd have to turn around. And I like some of the secret passages that are here and there too. I thought that was really neat. The one thing that frustrated me, and this is just really small, is that whenever I die, and it'd go to the game, and it'd fade to the game. Well, there was one part that I kept dying, but I would be all ready to go, and then my character would be already running, and he'd fall off.
Oh, so you'd be moving during the fade?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I realized, I should not be moving. I should just let it
slow down a little bit.
Come up on the screen and then get going. But I'd be all like ready, and then my guy would just fall. And I'm like,
I could see me falling into that trap.
So
too.
that was like the only thing. But I thought it really set the tone. I thought it was really cool. All the directions were there. I enjoyed it. But I haven't gotten to the frustration.
One last thing I will say is that I like some of the puzzles. There were some puzzles in there that I really liked. I wish there were more.
Yeah,
sure.
It seemed a little light on the puzzles that were really awesome. There were a couple that were really, really well done, but that's the kind of area where I think the limbo thing doesn't help because those puzzles were so smart.
Yeah,
and you kind of learn from your mistakes in that game. And this feels like you don't really learn anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you just know what you have to do, and then that's about it.
Yeah.
So
right. I think I saw that in some reviews too.
Oh, really?
That the answers were either really transparent or you couldn't figure it out at all.
There were a couple rooms that I was in, and I was like, I don't fucking know what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
Like, I can't figure it out.
Right.
And so you just have to play around with it a little bit. And so there was a couple frustrating areas like that where it was unclear.
Well, yeah, I think they gave the impression that the tough ones were much fewer in number.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
Yeah.
But check it out. I mean,
cool.
1,500 points.
1,200 points.
I'm sorry, 1,200 points, $15. That is correct.
From Tequila Works.
Tequila Works. And I think this is their first outing for GameWise, so I really liked it.
Cool.
Yes, sir.
Talk about some demos.
Yes.
Or a demo.
A demo.
Transformers. Fall of Cybertron.
Fall of Cybertron.
From High Moon Studios, of course, who brought us War for Cybertron and the last Transformers movie tie-in game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Dark Side of the Moon. Dark of the Moon. Is that it?
yeah, Transformers War for Cybertron 0.5.
Yeah, exactly.
No. 0.25, I'll give it.
No.
All right.
Anyway, so
let's
this
just
one.
go nowhere.
You have 2 chapters you can play in this.
Yes.
You can play as Bumblebee
Yes.
and as Vortex.
As
It might have
yeah,
been.
one
Is
of
that his
the Combaticons.
I want to call him Switchblade.
the
but
Combaticons.
I
right?
so wanted them to combine.
Yeah,
Well, did
so
you see that
I.
footage?
No, I did see the footage.
And they're all
yeah.
slamming together. I'm like, holy shit.
I know. I got really excited when I saw that I was controlling Combaticons.
It's great.
Ah, Bruticus.
So, much like the first game, but better, right?
Yeah,
I thought
I'd
it
have to
looked
say
so much
so.
cleaner.
it looks. I mean,
I thought it was tight, like graphics wise, was tight.
Maybe I
and
got
bright.
Looks
rose-colored
fantastic,
glasses
yeah.
or something.
No, I thought it was a little
I
bit
think it looks
brighter
great.
too.
The music throughout like keeps
Yeah.
the level of this epic thing happening. And I thought they did a fantastic job in these 2 chapters. I guess that's the only thing you get to look at, but of keeping it feel like these are high stakes and like there are big things happening.
Right.
And it doesn't feel like I just have to get to this next checkpoint. I was like, I have something that I need to accomplish and I'm trying to get my ass over here, and obstacles were being thrown in my way and all of that, and I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yes.
The best part of this demo, and this is why everybody should play it, is when you're on an elevator and there's a special appearance by one of my favorite Decepticons and his crew.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
What?
When you're Bumblebee on the elevator and one of the doors is open and you can hear them.
Oh, yes.
And it's totally Soundwave.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, I don't remember.
And it's like has all of his
I was
guys
trying
are
to
out in
shoot
front of
whatever
him,
Decepticons
and he's
I could
walking.
see.
Yeah, and I'm like, "Ooh," I'm shooting, but I was like, oh, well, I guess I'm not stopping at that level.
Yeah.
And I was glad because he had a bunch of people with him.
Nice.
He had all of his cassettes out there. Oh, loved
I saw
it.
those in the video they were showing too.
So
One of them
cool.
taking off.
That is so cool. Mm-hmm. And then
Grimlock.
the Decepticon part was pretty neat. I thought that was a little nice intro. I love being able to transform on the fly. It's so fun. Like just being able to use the weapons that way. But it was really neat to play the game and kind of everything's still there the same way. It just is all tighter and just I liked it.
Yeah.
I'm buying it.
I found towards the end of that Decepticon level to be a little hard.
I did too. I was having some
with
problems.
all the rocket shooting guys.
Yeah.
I was like, what the shit is going on here?
Yeah, like the very beginning, you're just kind of like, wee, flying.
Well, and then I would like
guy.
open the door, and then those 2 guys would run through, and I'd be trying to shoot them as fast as I can, and then they just kill me.
I had the same
Well,
problem.
then I went back, and I searched around in that room a little bit after I cleared out the smaller guys, and I found like a heavy weapon thing.
Yeah.
And then they had those stations set up too, where you could spend some of your money. That wasn't in the first game, was it?
You can spend money?
Well, it was your Energon or whatever you're
yeah.
collecting, and
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
could spend 250 and open it up, and it was like a random item that's in there
I
now.
think I saw one of those.
And so you can get like a random item from that.
Right.
And so I would open that up and get like a new heavy weapon thing. I think I like this huge missile launcher from one of it. But it was different things. I think it was
Right.
randomly generated,
Yeah.
which is kind of awesome.
Yeah, I thought that was
And
nice.
I saw in one of the cutscenes they were saying, make sure you open it up or, spend money on them because sometimes there'll be an item you've never gotten before.
Right,
and
right.
so they must just be
Oh.
random all the time.
I don't like that.
That's cool.
It's cool, but I don't like it because I
It's-
forget that stuff.
You'll have money to
Borderlands.
spend.
Teletron. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Fall of Borderlands.
Fall of Borderlands.
Man.
And I didn't check out the multiplayer.
I did.
Neither
a little
did I.
bit.
Did you?
I did a little bit.
To stand up to last time?
Yeah, it
good.
was fun. The only problem is just getting matched up with people that have been in there already and they've got higher like
Sure.
level
Yeah.
jobbies.
Did you find that people were kind of cooperating as teams though?
A little
'Cause
bit.
That was one of the things that I really liked about the multiplayer from the first game was, when I was playing it, you could really see that people were changing like what type of transformer they were based on how the team was doing and, helping each other out and giving each other support and all that.
Yeah. But that was like the best part.
Not emotional support.
One of the great parts in
That's
the
what I could
multiplayer
use.
is like I'm on the ground and I see
buffs.
Decepticon fly over and there's an Autobot flying behind him, so I just transform into the ship and we're both like chasing after this Decepticon shooting at him. And it's just those moments that you don't have in any other game,
Right.
So I'm totally looking forward to this game. Like something
Yeah, me
fierce.
too.
Something fierce.
Well, it's just 2 weeks.
Won't come soon enough.
It is 2 weeks.
I'm gonna buy it.
Is it 2 weeks? No, it's longer
It's
than
the
that.
21st, isn't it?
It's 3 weeks. Right?
Well, the 7th will be this Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
So I'm embellishing a little. I'm doing this for the listeners who are going to be hearing this on Monday.
3 Tuesdays from now. Right?
Oh, yeah, that's 3 weeks.
3 Tuesdays. That's what I mean.
Awesome.
There's a lot of shit coming out in August. That's what I know.
Yeah.
I can't handle it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Especially when they show Metroplex transforming and
Metroplex.
I don't even know who all these Transformers. See, the thing is, I like Transformers.
Those guys are going to be in there.
But I'm not a big Transformers nerd. I'm not the kind of guy.
I agree.
I'm not the kind of guy who's like immediately, Transformers. I think this is totally awesome. And just doing it for nostalgia. I'm not criticizing anyone who has the nostalgia.
No, you hate them.
I'm saying you don't have to be like a big Transformers nerd in order to really enjoy how the games play and get into the story that they're trying to tell.
Oh, yeah.
I seem to remember that was our thing from the private chat we did for the original Transformers, and we were like, we're not even huge like Transformers dorks, like me and you.
Yes.
Like I remember from a kid and everything.
We.
He's because he's that guy we're talking about.
Yeah.
He is. But even so, you can appreciate like what's going on and just the concept of what Transformers are, and the fact that you can run around and like transform into this and then back again is pretty fucking sweet.
Yep.
And really smooth.
Yeah.
And well done. Yeah. And I also view it as what it must be for the people who are super into it. Like the Seans.
The people who have to change their pants after every level.
Yo, it's so cool though. You don't understand. It's just so like friggin' neat that you can just.
I agree. I agree.
So cool.
I disagree.
But if they could just make it, this game is just missing the fully customizable character. Like I want to have like a range of a range of infiltrators, like from a Mini Cooper all the way to a Volkswagen Bug. But I'm turning into a car game all of a sudden.
Yeah,
you mean all Cybertron vehicles?
Well, they look kind of like regular vehicles. You keep but they do, because Bumblebee looks like a little Volkswagen. He still does. Period.
Okay.
It just has like cool rims on it, and it's a little.
I like that his voice thing was
always
destroyed,
is.
and they're like, as usual,
because he didn't talk at all in
and
the
that was
cartoon.
funny too. Well, yeah.
I don't know why they just neutered Bumblebee in.
I don't know.
In the comic books, he's awesome
to kind of connect it with the movies and stuff, but without having to do the movies.
I guess.
But I guess this is them leaving. Yeah, this is them taking off to Earth.
Yeah, in the Ark.
Yeah. And Megatron's like, nuh-uh. I love it. I love it.
All right.
DLC.
We can go way back in time.
Gonna go back in time to 2008, 2009.
I don't know.
Prince of Persia. I'm gonna say 2009 was when the DLC came out, because we talked about Prince of Persia on episode 8, which was our December episode.
Wow.
2008.
From
or 8?
Yeah. So DLC would come out after that.
Yikes.
So that would mean 2000. I know, right? Hey,
I thought we started the show in 2009. That's why I was.
No, we started in September of 2008.
Oh my god.
Ghostbusters, the game, came out in 2009. What?
Oh my god.
I know, right?
What?
That Ghostbusters game that came out in 2009, right?
Now we're talking like elderly gamers.
Yeah, exactly.
Seriously.
So
old men.
No doubt.
I stumbled across a $8 copy of Prince of Persia, and I remembered enjoying Prince of Persia. It's got its flaws. I remember that it had flaws, but I remember overall liking the sort of fluid movement and the environment design, and exploring around for all that stuff. And
it was the artsy fartsy one, right?
You mean cel shaded?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Do you mean loose, like minimum story?
Yes.
Okay. I don't think that makes it artsy fartsy. I think that just makes it.
No, I think that's
minimalist.
what people would call it. The Shadow of the Colossus style.
It's a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would put it necessarily directly in that vein.
Okay.
But the kind of wandering around, yes. Yeah, there are things that do remind me of Shadow.
It's a lot less structured.
Yes, it is a lot less structured. That's
what I mean by it too, as well.
And so, and I always wanted to go back and kind of
it's pretty.
Finish the achievements for it. Yeah, and I enjoyed it, and I thought, well, maybe I'd like to play it again and all that. And I went back in there, and I started a new game, and I had a lot of fun playing a new game, and I sought out some achievements using an old save file and all that, and it was great. I really enjoyed playing the main campaign, and
awesome.
that was reminded. Oh yeah, that's right. They came out with some DLC, the Epilogue. because the game ends on a surprising note.
Yes, it does.
And kind of a cool note. It's kind of like an open ending left. And I think when I listened to our show, when we talked about it, we were talking about like how it was leaving it open for a sequel and all of that.
I wish.
And it goes directly into the epilogue. Epilogue happens like immediately after that.
Nice.
And so the prince and, well, I'm going to call him that. He doesn't really have a name, but the prince and Elika, go into this structure, running away from the dark god. And then they just kind of run through the structure from the dark god. So basically, the DLC is terrible.
Great. You totally suckered me. I thought this was going a different way. That was a whole setup just to say it was shit.
It's pretty bad. They basically took a lot of the fun stuff from the regular one, stripped it out, and left all the frustrating stuff, and then threw a few more frustrating aspects in there.
Awesome.
So basically, because you know how a lot of the fun was just kind of running around exploring and looking for light seeds and kind of figuring out how to get up to a new place, blah, 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 blah. There's no exploration whatsoever. You're just on a linear path. You basically have one path that you have to do, and you just have to nail it correctly. In addition to that, I can't remember. They added these moving blobs of darkness that basically go back and forth. So your wall runs turn into Frogger, essentially.
Those are in the regular game, though, right?
Were they?
I think so.
Okay.
Where they would move around, you'd have to like wait and then go at a certain time.
They weren't as prominent though. These things are all over the place.
Okay.
Or I don't remember them because for my new game I got about halfway through and then I decided to play some of my old save game and I haven't gone back to my new game yet.
I seem to remember them being a pain in the ass.
Okay.
In some places where you'd have to line up your run.
I can believe that.
And so run when they weren't going.
Right.
Is that right?
Yeah. But they seem to be everywhere. And
well, yeah, because that adds difficulty, and that adds longevity. Don't you know, Craig?
Well, that was fun. That was more acceptable when I could have an alternate route, or like if I fuck up and like I accidentally jump off in the wrong direction, then maybe there's going to be a ledge that I'm not meant to land on, but I can pull something off in order to get over there. Yeah. But with a single path that you just basically have to master, not as good.
Yeah.
And then there's just no creativity in it. It's like, you basically what happens is you go through a sequence where you have to do a bunch of wall runs. You get to a large room, figure out how to get through this large room with a minor puzzle. There's one really cool puzzle. I liked that. But get through that, fight a mini boss, fight the other mini boss. Rinse and repeat 5 times.
Oh my.
So you have to fight the same battle 5 times. And so the mini bosses, they didn't even come up with new bosses. They came up with this shape changer thing that turns into the 4 corrupted guys.
Well, that was handy.
So it starts off as the warrior, so you can't even do any damage to it. And so you have to get it to a ledge. And let me point out, they keep reducing the number of ledges every time you fight it. And there was one room where every once in a while the door would switch. So I'd be pushing it, and then all of a sudden the door would close on it before I could get it out the door. I'm like, fan-fucking-tastic. Thank you very much. Now I have to go to the other end of the room, and it'll probably shut by the time I get there.
Oh.
And so then when you try to push it over, then it like rages out and it turns into the hunter. And that's it. And then it fights you, and then the hunter will turn back into the warrior sometimes. But if you're very good, not good. If you're very lucky,
yes,
you can finish off the shape changer right away, because if you push the hunter over, then it's done.
Okay.
But if you're not lucky, then you're in for an ass-long battle, because he's constantly deflecting things too, like from especially with the hunter. I'm sorry, the warrior, because the warrior is only you can only hit it with magic attacks and sword attacks, and neither one does any damage, but those are the only things that can push him back.
Yeah.
But he's constantly blocking the sword attacks, constantly. And then you fight the 5th boss, the last boss. He keeps reappearing as well, which again is exactly the same battle over and over and over again. And one of the saving graces for Prince of Persia was its save system, because you could save anywhere.
Right.
Like, and so if you're getting frustrated with something, you could save, and you could be right in that, at least as long as it's flat ground that you're saving on.
Yeah.
You could save there and come back to any point in the game whatsoever. I thought that was fantastic. The save system, I don't know if it's broken, I don't know if they changed it specifically for the DLC. I don't know. There's something fucked up with it because I save and sometimes it'll agree to save there. Sometimes it won't. And so I'll have 3 different save files all saved for the same point, like a mile back. And so if, you know, a part of the problem was I was also achievement hunting for this. And one of them is to you get through with like 20 or fewer saves from Elika. Okay. And so instead of letting her just reset me, I would, you know, quit out.
It. Yeah,
and come back in and all that. But that became very frustrating trying to do that. And so I've played it through again since they're not caring about that. And it was a lot less frustrating letting Elika just kind of save me over and over again. But it just was really mind-boggling. Like, if I had to stop the game and go, you know, make myself some food or something and come back the next day, and I was like 8 football fields back and 2 boss battles.
Right.
The autosaves were terrible.
Ugh.
I don't know where they had assigned them, but yeah, collecting collectibles didn't trigger an autosave. Fighting bosses didn't trigger an autosave. They were just kind of set into places.
It sounds great.
It was terrible.
At least you paid extra for
and
it.
Elika, because remember how funny some of the dialogue and
That's
stuff
what I was going to
was?
ask you. So that was my question is...
Elika's all pissed off throughout this damn thing. And so it's...
Not funny?
No. It's just... Everybody's very serious. I mean... The prince kind of tries to make a couple wisecracks, but they're not really like lighthearted wise. Yeah, I don't know.
See, that's the thing, and that was such an important part of the game was their reaction or their relationship between each other and the way that they would, you know, feed off of each other.
It's understandable the way Elika's acting based on how the game ended, but and then it gets to the end, and it's not really an ending. It's a even bigger. Hey, we want to do a sequel. Like nothing changes from what was happening before.
You know what? That's what you really want to see is when you're playing the DLC from
called
like
Epilogue
3 or 4 years ago.
Yes,
called Epilogue.
Yes,
is a game that's leading up to another game that you now know has never going to happen.
Yeah, yeah. So
good stuff.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping that they had kind of fixed some of the little bits. I was having a hard time with like the little quick time events in the battles too. Like I pressed it. And then, like, after I pressed it, it would say I failed. And I'm like, what is going on? I don't know. I can't remember if that was a big thing for me in the main game. I don't feel like it was. But I don't know.
Great.
I was yelling at the TV.
I love how you suckered me in on that.
That's awesome.
It was bad.
I love the game. This was terrible.
Well, I wanted to highlight that I still do like the game. I went back and played the game.
Right.
I still enjoy it. I still think it's good. It's flawed, yes. It had a lot more potential that it could have tapped, I think. Yes, definitely. But the things that it did well, I think it did very well. And for some odd reason, they just stripped those out. You know, you're not healing any land, so it's just that gray tunnels through the entire fucking DLC.
That's no good either.
I know, right?
Because that was part of the awesome part of the other game.
Right?
Putting color back into everything.
Yes. Man. So, yeah. That you do get a new power. The energized power. It creates fake walls.
Ooh.
That you can run on. Yeah.
Sounds great.
Yep. I mean, some of it was so lazy was that there are these frescoes that you can, those are the collectibles. There are 10 of them. And you have to just kind of run across them. And they're on walls and ceilings and stuff like that. You know, you go into a room, there's 2 frescoes in every major room. And in one of the rooms, you go in the main area, you're standing on like a little porch thing, you know, a little balcony. And you climb up the left side pillar, and then there's a whole sequence of like hooks and stuff to get to the other one. To get to the other fresco, you go up the right side pillar, and it was essentially the same sequence.
Great.
a little different, but not much. Yeah, it really looked like it was kind of crapped out really fast. Is what it looked like. Oh, and I think this was a glitch. But you remember you go into these areas and there'd be this corrupted air and you had to get through that area really quickly before you died because he was inhaling it or something.
I do not remember, but
it's an area that'll be like black flakes floating in the air.
You.
Yeah. And so you know, as you're staying in there too long, like the screen kind of turns a little more red and like there's a bit of this high pitch noise kind of getting higher and higher to kind of signify that you're getting sick. It does that throughout the entire DLC for me. Like in a continuous loop.
What?
Yeah. So I either have to turn off all the sound effects or have my ears bleed as it just continually goes
through the entire DLC.
Yes, and in the menu, the main menu, it's bleeded into that.
Have you thought about deleting it and re-downloading it?
I don't know.
You might want to try that.
I just turned off the sound effects, and then I didn't.
That
hear
sounds like a lot of terrible.
I had a weird. Are we
Dream?
still talking about Prince of Persia?
No, I'm good.
I had a weird thing with my Walking Dead. You know, I was talking about how the files weren't there because I thought I erased them.
Okay.
That we were talking about, but the pre-show last episode. I went to play episode 2 because I was restarting one,
right.
and I was
now.
going
Yes.
through one, and I was doing a really good job at it, and running things out. And I went to play back. I think it was like I was towards the end of 1, and I went to play it out to get down to 2, and then all of a sudden my save files from my other games were there.
Ta-da!
And I'm like, oh,
Yay!
I'm like, what's going on? I only should have one save file. So then I went back and was trying to play through some of find out where I was at with those characters. Yeah, but I never got to 2. It's gonna happen.
It's gonna
but I thought that
happen.
was really weird how they just showed up. It's like, hey,
They're on vacation.
Here we go. It took them a while to get
The
there.
cloud
They
floated
were
away.
walking.
You should play 2.
I want to.
You should.
I'm gonna.
You bought it. You should play it.
I'm playing it. Not right now, though.
Look, this is his one chance to kind of turn the table.
I know.
Just play it.
I know.
Yeah, no, let's not talk about everything I haven't played. God, there's so much stuff out there, too. Whatever. Anyway, so let's talk about the stuff I did play.
Okay, what'd you play?
That is The Price is Right
that's right,
Decades.
yeah.
Ba-da-ba.
No, that's not. I don't think that's
Well,
it.
which one is that?
I don't know. But here's what I do know.
It's game showy.
I got it for $5. Best Buy had a big
have
ass
to let me
sale.
borrow that.
I will let you borrow
Thank
it
you.
gladly.
Okay.
You as well, Craig.
Yay.
Best Buy had a big gaming sale and they had this game for $5, right? So I'm like, well, I don't expect it to be great,
It is $5 though.
but it's $5. I'm like, I would rent that. Like if they would have had that
I'd
for
rent
rent,
that.
I would have rented it for $5,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
You should make
to
a
play it.
T-shirt. I'd rent that.
Because here's the thing,
That's a good shirt.
it's not.
No,
you know what?
it is.
It's a good shirt if you're a rental place. Like that'd be smart. Wouldn't that be
Yeah.
great? Anyway, regardless. So it's a game that my wife and I can both play. A game show. It'd be fun.
Yeah.
We'll play. So I got it, and you get to play the old Price is Right games.
Yeah.
This is great. So I don't know how I would make a Price is Right game. Okay, I'm going to say that up front here.
Okay.
I
would probably make it like Price is Right.
I don't have the answers, is what I'm saying. Okay. But I do know how I wouldn't make a Price is Right game.
You never got called down.
I
what
didn't.
a fucking cheesy. You got to watch it all, right?
That'd be awesome.
You did not get called down.
You got to hit the button to clap.
You could shout out answers.
Yes, that was it. I had to watch all these games get played. $1. All these things, and you're like number 2, and then she'd be like number 3, and you're like boo, no.
Can you boo the person who goes $1 over? the old lady.
No. Oh, that would be great. That is how I would make my game. Now I know how I'd make the Price is Right game. That'd be like the biggest troll ever. I'd love it.
You have to play 300 times before you get.
Here's how this game plays and how I would not make a Price is Right game, okay? So, and I don't know the answer to this, but I played a multiplayer game first, okay? Right. So it's me and my wife playing. We're both down. You automatically come down to the front to do the pricing game thing at the beginning. They show you an object, and here's the thing: it's called Decades because it shows games from 70s, 80s, 90s, and the current time, 2000s. Those they don't show. What they show is screenshots, basically, because they can't show video.
Yeah,
I think there are videos on there that you can unlock somehow, like old, actual Price is Right video footage.
Nice,
but when they show you products. So it's within that time frame.
Yeah.
So if you're playing a game in the 80s, you get a screenshot of some 80s shit, which is hilarious.
That is neat.
So there's 2 reasons to play this game, and that's seeing all this awesome merchandise from like 70s, 80s, and 90s, which is funny to me.
Yeah.
And they show you different like close-ups of
Look
it
at
and
this
everything.
Nintendo NES gaming
And it
system.
is all legitimate stuff. So
Yeah.
it's not just generic. It is the actual like lame merchandise that they would use.
Yeah.
And then they have like appropriate voiceovers of the guys like giving the whole spiel about you can have this thing and it offers hours of entertainment and blah blah blah, and it's like hilarious, and that stuff is funny. So you do the thing, they show you the pricing game at the beginning, or whatever that's called, and then you make your bid, and the winner comes up on stage. Now in a 2-player game, you all go up on stage. So let's say one of me or my wife would have won that closest, right? So she gets her money value depending on how much that prize is worth. And then we both go up on stage.
Okay.
And we both play a game.
Right.
Okay, so whoever wins that game then gets that
makes sense, because otherwise you could sit out the entire
Exactly.
game not playing.
So I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know the answer.
Right.
But this is terrible.
Yeah, it's a little
There's
weird.
a lot of stuff. Right. It's the structure is so weird, but it's the problem with that kind of game.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know how else
because
they're
there are
gonna
those
do
people who stand down there behind their little
For the
podium
whole
for the
game.
entire
For
game.
the whole, yeah.
And
So you do
that's
one.
not fun.
You do one game, and then and this is all on multiplayer only that I'm talking about. So you do one game. And then you go to the wheel. So whoever won the game, if somebody won the game, they get that amount added to their total. So now you're basically just doing a score battle between the person.
Yeah.
You go spin the
Which is
wheel.
essentially what the end of the game show is like, anyway.
Right, and you go to spin the wheel, and you are both going to the showcase showdown at the end, no matter what.
Okay.
So you're spinning the wheel just for bonus points,
Right.
That will then get added into your score.
Fair enough.
Then you go to the showcase showdown, and whoever wins that gets that amount added into their score, and then that's who determines who the winner is.
Okay.
Now, also, if you're playing a 2-player game, only the first player gets any achievements on the game.
Oh.
Yeah.
They're locked for second player. Terrible.
Yeah.
Those games are terrible.
That is
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
Especially in this format.
I like the ones that just give you if you're part of the game and not even playing.
You're not even playing. You're just signed in.
Oh, yeah,
right.
those are the best.
Okay, so that's a 2-player game, and so you're ultimately done in, I don't know, 10 minutes at most. And most of the time you're just waiting on animation showing you your score and in between rounds because of the pricing games and all that stuff. Whatever. So you play by yourself, and you play down on that initial thing to get up on stage until you win. You just keep going with new prizes that they show you.
So you could just stand down.
You could just stand there for a long time. I think I got up to like 6 or 7 times that I was losing, and before I got called up. So I don't know if there's ever a time where it's like, you're done. We're not filming anymore. The show is over. So I got up on stage eventually. You play one pricing game, then you go spin the wheel, and there's one person who has a high score, and you have to beat that person. If you don't, game over. Game over. Back to the main menu.
So
If you do beat them,
it's a party game.
there's no partying here.
I know, but
If you do beat them, you go to the showcase showdown, and then you challenge. You basically get the showcase showdown, and then you can bid on it or pass it.
yeah.
And then you get the second one, you can bid on it, and then so you either win or you don't, and then game over, and you go back to the main menu. So basically, every little like 10-minute, 15-minute thing is just one game that you play. It's just a terrible structure,
Yeah.
and I don't know how to make it better.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't know what you should do, but however, it is like I said, you get to see those old ass products, which is funny to me.
Yeah.
The nostalgia factor is funny to me.
Yeah.
And you get to play mountain climber. So what do you want?
Yeah.
and he yodels
And checkout or whatever that's called.
and Plinko.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and a game like that, a game show like that, I can see it being difficult to really sell a thoroughly good experience.
Because it's not like Wheel of Fortune or something.
Right,
where
I was about to say I
Yes.
had a Wheel of Fortune for PS2, and that was actually quite a bit of fun.
Yeah.
You know.
Because you can all stay in that the whole game.
Well, I mean, you could get fucked by, rolling bank or spinning bankrupt constantly,
Well, that's true.
or lose a turn,
Yeah.
which would happen sometimes, but not as often.
So worth $5, I don't know, maybe.
Sounds like it. We'll get my review.
Yeah, I'll let you borrow it, and we'll see what you think of it.
Yeah, I'll love it.
It's just really, I don't know. It's weird. Like,
Yeah.
Where's the
that's
Drew Carey
thing.
DLC?
They add him in. There's no host.
That's
I
weird.
know that's gonna make some people mad too.
That's weird.
Who cares? There's no host because there's nothing for him to do.
I like how you're anticipating this big controversy over the fact that there's no host.
Do random
That's
so-
gonna make some people mad.
do
But
random,
who cares?
Do random
You're like arguing against this imaginary guy who's ranting about fuck Price is Right because there's no Bob Barker.
How could you not put Bob Barker there? Let me guess. They don't even tell you to spay or neuter your animals at the end, do they?
And you're all like, who cares, guy?
Who cares?
Come on.
Dude.
It was shitty anyway.
Come on, it's really bad. Who cares?
Oh,
Who cares?
who cares?
Whatever. So $5 is probably worth it, I guess. but
Yeah,
I don't know.
because we could go through the whole your breakdown of
You two should play together.
entertainment. Oh, it's better with Connect.
It does use Connect.
I'll
I didn't
try
play
that
it.
Can you punch through the little things on that?
That would be
paper
badass.
punching one.
I did play that game, but I doubt you can.
And you can probably spin the big wheel though.
I bet you can spin the wheel. I
That was
don't know how it works with Kinect. I don't know what it does.
That game was one that whenever they were advertising it, I just really was like, oh, that would be awesome. But then at the same time, I'm like, wait, how would that be awesome? Because I'm like trying to think. I'm like going through all like
it'd be great. No, wait, it'd be terrible.
Because you're like, wait,
you play 15 games and some Marine always like outbids you by $1.
Yeah. I mean, that's essentially.
I appreciate what you did for the country,
Exactly.
but seriously.
Quit screwing me over.
And then you get like, because then you miss out on the getting the cash for getting right on the being $100 away or whatever.
I don't know. Maybe you do get a bonus.
Do they have groups of people all wearing the same shirt
Well,
in the audience?
well, there was only 5 different people in the audience, so technically yes.
I think they're all in the same group.
but they're not sitting together. And there's some amazingly prophetic people in the game, because there was one I was playing in the 70s and the guy had an Xbox shirt on. So that was amazing.
Oh,
that guy was brilliant.
That's awesome.
Because it's just the regular Avatar gear that they got on.
Right.
Now that's the other thing. I wish they put in the people that are on your friends list. That'd be awesome.
That would be cool.
Like if they put those people in.
I didn't realize
that'd
there
be
were
great.
avatars playing in there.
It was just they were those Avatar looking
Right.
kind of
Yeah.
characters. Yeah.
But did you?
But they're
use
just
your
random.
Was your guys'
avatar?
Oh yeah. I was using my.
Yeah, see,
so yeah, I guess it would be worth
didn't say
$5
that.
to Sean.
No.
Sorry, I forgot that.
I might have to buy that off you then.
He might buy it full price.
I would buy it up for at least 20.
But I wish
Avatar
it put
Awards?
other people in there. No, I don't think you do. But they should put other people in, like from your friends list. That'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
Racketeer and Deadlight had them. Anyway, sorry.
Avatar.
Oh,
Awards,
Avatar
yeah.
Awards, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right. So enough about Price is Right. Jesus Christ, I spent more on that than anybody needed to know. You guys don't have any disc games, right?
No.
So I'm going to
No.
close it out with Spec Ops, The Line, from Jaeger Development,
walk
and
it?
2K Games. I'm walking the line currently. I'm in the middle of it, and there is a fine line in it, and I'm stepping over it, I think.
Ooh,
Nice.
you are not listening to that lieutenant.
Here's the thing. I am the fucking lieutenant, all right? I think. I don't know what I am.
You're going rogue.
So here's the setup of the game. It is a third-person shooter. It's... I don't know. I don't want to say it's Call of Duty, Battlefront, those kind of games, because obviously those are first person, but
Yeah.
they're going for that grittier feel. I mean,
sure.
it is like a lot realer
So
feeling.
it's Gears of War.
However, it is definitely more Gears of War Army of 2 than it is Call of Duty for me, okay?
Yeah.
And so
Ooh, yeah.
by that I mean just the way that it plays and the nature. So it is a very serious game, but it's not so Michael Bay. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there is lots of crazy shit going on, but it's not Michael Bay where it's all about the stuff blowing up and then everybody high-fiving each other.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? That's kind of how those games make me feel, where they're like, they shoot
man.
they shoot a guy's head off and they're like, that was fucking badass. But it's a little more weighted than that. It's definitely got like some
It was
morality.
like, I bet that guy had kids.
Exactly. That's what this game is. This game's bringing you down. They're like, what are we doing? It is.
I knew that guy since high school.
It is slightly depressing.
He was my best
Especially
man.
like the
say
whole
that.
like acts of war type of thing. And
So here's how. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It is.
Oh, okay.
And so here's how it's set up. You're going in. It takes place in Dubai. And it takes place months after this like huge sandstorm has kind of wrecked the whole area. So it's become basically this no man's land kind of thing where they declared it like basically dead. They went in to do this rescue mission. They called in this battalion to go in and do this rescue mission to like try and get civilians out. Went in. This group went in. They were never heard from again. And then all of a sudden there was this distress signal that was sent out by one of the guys who was sent in and said, we couldn't get anybody out. Everything got fucked, and this is a problem. And so it was just all of a sudden like happened months after this team had gone in and nobody had heard from them. So basically, they secretly dispatched these 3 guys in, and you're leading that group. So there's 3 of you total. So you always got 2 like wingmen with you.
nice.
And you guys are going in to basically see what this distress signal is all about, see if there's anybody still around, and it's all secretive mission.
Sure.
And shit goes south from there.
What?
Yeah, I don't know if you can believe this or not, but there's shit going on.
It doesn't go easily, and then you go home.
You show up and the guys are waiting. Where
you're
you
like,
guys been?
Nobody's there.
Get on the
We're
ship.
out. So you go in, and here's the thing: the voice acting in this game, amazing. It's
Cool.
really well
Cool.
done. Nolan North is the main guy,
Who was also the
who was also Prince from Prince of Persia, and so it's dealing with obviously somebody who can do voice acting, right?
Right,
So.
yeah.
So there is a lot of weight also to these characters as far as emotion, and they're actually dealing with this situation.
Yeah.
You basically, what happens is you go in and you wind up in the middle of the Civil War because shocker, spoiler, there are people there.
What?
that you find.
Are they sand people?
But I don't really know what's going on yet. I'm about halfway into the game and I still don't really know what's going on. You're kind of thrown into the shit and trying to figure out, and that's kind of what I like about it.
Yeah.
Is that you're in the character spot where they're like, who is this guy who's all of a sudden telling these things, and like, what is this thing going on? And we're like, we think we're saving this guy, but then he turns out to not be the guy that we should be saving.
Nice.
And so there's lots of, obviously, like a hierarchy set up here that we don't know about and that I don't know about as a player, and I'm kind of learning as I go along, and I'm really enjoying it. The combat wise, it's really well done. Targeting is really smooth. It's a lot more Gears of War than I have with Call of Duty, where sometimes it feels like it takes about 4,000 shots with Call of Duty, and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
This seems very consistent. You can hit them in different parts of their bodies, and it'll stun them for a minute, but you place a headshot, and it feels tight, it feels good, and, you know, one shot and they're down. It's not like you have to hit them 4 times in the head and all of a sudden knock off a helmet, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
There's lots of weapons around that you can pick up. They're really realistic as far as, like, I think your main machine gun that you have, you can put a silencer on it. And so sometimes you can sneak in and do things. They do some really smart things with melee. So you can melee a guy with your B button and it knocks them down, but it doesn't kill them.
Right.
You still have to execute them.
Right.
With a B button hit, and so you basically stand over them and knock them out or whatever. But by doing that, it gives you a bonus of extra ammo.
Ooh,
so,
cool.
and I forget about that. So I was running out of ammo all over the place because they do kind of screw you in a little bit of those situations where they pin you down. It helps that you have 2 other guys that are helping.
Yeah.
And they're also big on the commands in the game where you can single out people and hit your bumper button, and they now target that guy.
Oh, hey, that's
so you can throw out commands.
Yeah.
It's really smoothly done. And there's even areas where sometimes you'll have like a group of guys, and it'll let you hit your bumper button to instruct one of your guys to throw out a flashbang.
Oh.
So he'll throw out a flash grenade when you don't have any or you're not thinking to use it, and it'll set everybody off. And so they're even doing that kind of stuff.
That's cool.
Really, really smooth.
That's really cool.
Thus far.
Yeah.
So I've been enjoying that a lot. And there are different, like 3 different kinds of grenades I think you can get, obviously, you know, with all that kind of stuff.
Is there a sticky grenade?
There is a sticky grenade. I just got it. And I was sticking it to everything. Like a dude's head.
I thought like it would explode with like maple syrup or something.
Oh, no. There's no maple syrup grenades that I have found as of yet.
Somebody needs to get on that.
It'll be in Borderlands
Candyland
2.
Wars.
Borderlands 2 will have it. Yeah.
The environment of Dubai itself is amazing. Like I said, they had that sandstorm, and now there's been this like big wall of storm basically that people can't get through, and why it's kind of been declared, you know, because nobody can get in or out. Except you got in. I don't know how you got in. I think
somebody's got a weather device.
I don't know what happens, but so it's basically the city if it's suffered a big sandstorm, and so there's tons of buildings just destroyed. And this is where it also reminded me of the Army of Two, the second one,
right?
Where it's like the place is falling apart. So you're going through buildings that are kind of crushed. They've been busted in with sand, and there's all these rooms filled with sand. There's also times where guys will be shooting at you, and you can shoot out windows behind them, and basically the sand will come in and attack them, or or they're up.
Right.
There's just lots of destructible elements of it, where some people will be shooting at me from a top of a building, and I can shoot the glass out from under their feet, and then they fall through and die.
Cool.
So there's lots of that, and it's been awesome. And I've been behind cover that's been destroyed, where I was like, "What the shit?" And then there's things where it's like, you know, when the sand's blowing around, you can't see, and so it's also moving around your environments. I was in this one spot where I kept dying, like I couldn't see people. I wasn't getting a good vantage point, but I didn't know I could really go anywhere. Or there was 3 places I could go, and they all looked the same to me.
Sure.
But this one that I was in had this like sun angle where the sun was blinding me for everything.
Yeah.
Well, I went over to the side, and all of a sudden the sun was like cut out. And so it was all about moving around, and like there's just smart elements to the environment like that, where you know, maneuvering around, and maybe you're not in the best spot, but then not everything's the same. You know, there are things you do to take advantage of it. So it's just really well done. The story is, like I said before, it's really smart. Thus far, there's a lot of intrigue going on as far as who's screwing who, and I think there's going to be some tough choices in the game, is the feeling I'm getting.
Love triangles, you mean?
No. I think I'd settle for that right now, because I think there's going to be some bad things I got to decide. But like I said before, it's a thing where you rarely see these games that have actually the characters you're playing like showing remorse.
Sure.
It's happening a lot in this game. And so we've talked about before where you just go in and it's like a shooting gallery and then everybody's like, oh, good job.
Right.
And then we move on to the next one.
Yeah.
And that's not happening in this. It's really heavy. And it's like...
There's some character to it. And some,
Totally.
That's cool.
And it's things where like, we're shooting guys because they're shooting at us, and then we get done and we're like, why the fuck are we shooting these people?
Right.
And they're like, we have to shoot these people. They were shooting at us. We're doing the right thing. And then people are like, I don't think we're doing the right thing. And, you know, that's going on back and forth, and it's like... I'm like, yeah, I don't know if we're doing the right thing, but they're shooting at me. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So it's just really, I'm really excited to play the rest of it. I don't know how long it is. There is multiplayer, but you know, the biggest thing for me right now is that story draw. And I don't really know what the multiplayer is going to do for me because you would lose that element, I would think.
Yeah.
You know,
But you might have some of those cool environments you were talking about.
It's true. And then you're like, I just want to kill people and high five.
I'm renting this bitch. That sounds cool.
And I've run into a couple.
Really cool.
I've run into a couple spots where I was getting frustrated because you do have some people, you know. But then once it was that whole Max Payne scenario where once I slowed down and took my time,
Right.
and you know your guys can get downed, but you can go and heal them yourself, like in Gears of War style.
Yeah.
Or you can instruct your other guy to heal him. Like you hit the bumper
Nice.
button and you're like, go over and get him, and he'll stop what he's doing and go heal the guy. So I haven't had any time where they were both down. So
That's cool.
they did a really good job with the game. I'm looking forward to finishing it out. So you should check it out.
I'm definitely going to check it out.
And then maybe we can check out some multiplayer
yeah.
too.
I'll be renting it tonight after the show.
You better. All right, well that's it for me on games.
Awesome.
You guys?
That's
That's
it.
it.
Done?
Yeah.
You did remind me they did announce a new Army of Two game.
Oh, that's right, they did.
However, they're getting rid of the characters from the Army of Two.
They're trying to make it more serious, right?
right, because you know
What?
that's
No more ass slaps.
Army of Three.
No more patty cake or paper,
bumps.
rock, scissors, whatever they would do.
Yeah, yeah.
our favorite scissors. Yeah.
not patty cake.
No.
They didn't play patty cake at all.
Yeah, I just fear
They didn't do
that
any
it's-
clapping games. Like the thing from
hand
Greece.
jive, yes. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know how that's going to turn out. 'Cause
Yeah, that's.
I think it's going to lose a lot of the thing that makes it unique.
The humor.
from other games.
It's
And
in
not
the-
taking itself serious.
It's in
Right.
the name. It's Army of Two. I mean, it's right there. That's. What
We
you
still have the
want.
two.
Yeah, they still have the two.
Yeah, but that's
Now
ridiculous.
they're just not
it's
joking around.
alpha and beta now.
Oh.
Like they have code names or whatnot. I think they're going to be pretty much faceless and
Douche and nozzle.
They still have their douchey tattoos all over.
Well, that's
stuff.
good.
So I'm like, how is this any? This doesn't look any different so far.
Well, maybe now they'll demean
They-
women and
Physically, they look
smoke cigars.
more similar to each other. I guess that's something.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad they're more cookie cutter now. All right. SignedInPodcast.com is our website. You can find links to our Facebook fan page, all of our past episodes.
Like episode 8.
Like episode 8. Go back and listen to how terrible I was back then.
And me
even
too.
worse than now.
And me too.
Were you on 8?
No,
No, he was on 9.
that's how bad I was.
So it
You
was.
guys wouldn't even let me on the show.
In some ways, it was a
I
happier day.
I remember your first episode. You were brought on so you could talk about Gears of War 2 with Jeremy.
Oh, because Craig hadn't played it? And still hasn't, probably. Or did you play a little bit of 2?
I think I played a little bit of
One of
2.
them, I don't know.
I have the first one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, all the other pseudo radio shows are on there as well. Our forums, and you can find us on Twitter at signedinpodcast.com or not .com, just signedinpodcast on Twitter. Where are you on Twitter, Sean
Shonix.
and Craig?
The pull list.
All right.
Is your Shonix different? I can't even remember
It's
now.
Shonix with one X.
Okay, so
the
it's like-
real one.
So it's like
I don't-
your
Who knows?
XBLA.
No, that's 2 X's. There's 3 X's.
Is there 3 X's on
Yeah.
that?
So
'cause-
anyway,
I can never remember which one's got more X's and which one doesn't.
And my
follow
XBLA,
follow
yeah.
us all on Twitter.
Yes.
And on Facebook.
Yes.
And come to our family reunions, I guess.
No.
Look in our windows.
Yes.
Root through our garbage.
I
Look
keep
at
my-
our mail.
I keep my windows open all the time.
Do it all.
Look,
Step
we could
by.
use the press from a few stalkers, is what we're saying.
A few never hurt.
Comments.
When they get enforced.
Comments
know,
at
when they team up,
signedinpodcast.com
Yeah.
is our email address. Email us anytime. We'd love to hear from you.
Yes.
Thanks again to the folks who did write us in. And next episode, there's so much stuff coming out. Risen 2 has come out, which I've missed in like the last, I think it came out this last week.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and
It's already
take
got DLC.
well, that's not promising, I guess. Day 1 DLC, did it have?
No, I don't think so.
Day 2? Well, it came out Tuesday, so it couldn't be too much later.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
Well, anyway, so I want to check that out because I know we talked about the first game when that came out.
Yeah.
So I plan on looking at that. However, Darksiders 2 and Sleeping Dogs comes out in 2 weeks. Both of those come out in 2 weeks, and that's crazy.
Darksiders 2, I was gonna buy that flat out, but War of Cybertron kind of won me over, so I think I opted.
And that's the week after.
I think I opted for
What
that.
the
I'm gonna
fuck?
have to rent the Darksiders 2, but then I ended up buying it down
It's so much.
the road.
I can't deal with it.
Yeah, yeah,
All right.
awesome.
That's it. That was our dramatic pause. That was our
another
second
one.
one.
Are we supposed to do something?
You guys usually do something.
I've suddenly forgotten how this show works.
I think that's a good thing.
I think we're done.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.